Hello there, I'm Steve Carlisle, and I appreciate the opportunity to address the Advanced Clean Transportation Virtual Conference. Forums like this are critical in accelerating knowledge across the entire transportation sector, and I'm so glad to be part of it. I grew up in the city of Woodstock in Ontario, Canada. Woodstock is a bit bigger today than it was when I was a kid, but it still has that small town feel. It was a great place to grow up, not unlike friendly, hardworking towns all across North America. And like a lot of kids in Canada, I played hockey. It has been a lifelong love of mine, and I still like to lace up the skates and play whenever I can. Now, the best lesson that hockey taught me is that you have to anticipate what is going to happen in the future. Things happen fast on the ice. You have to play ahead of the action. There's an old hockey truism that you skate to where the puck is going to be, not to where it's been. It is a basic hockey concept. It's something that hockey players learn at a very early age. Now, if you spend the whole game chasing the puck, you won't win. It's that simple. Yet so many companies and industries spend their time chasing the puck. They're only concerned with now, or they're concerned only with what their competitors are doing now, or building products that their customers are asking for now. Now, allow me for a minute to engage in a little science fiction. So imagine, if you will, that a time traveler has just visited us from the year 1920. He would be astonished, I think, at the progress made in 100 years. Artificial intelligence, satellites, a space station, flat screen TVs, laptops, and smart personal devices. But at the same time, I believe the typical automobile of today would be instantly recognizable to this century-old time traveler. Sure, there's no doubt he would be impressed with the sleek styling, the various technologies like fuel injection, increased efficiency, anti-lock brakes and airbags, not to mention the safety, horsepower, and handling characteristics. But today's automobile is really not that different than the vehicle he would have been accustomed to in 1920. 4 wheels, a steering wheel, a couple seats up front, a couple seats in the back, an internal combustion engine that runs on gasoline and requires routine oil and spark plug changes. There's no doubt in my mind, albeit with a quick familiarization session, a person from 1920 could jump in today's automobile, start it up, and drive off with little to no difficulties. The bottom line is this: whether we like to admit it or not, advancements of the automobile in the automobile industry have been primarily evolutionary, not revolutionary. In other words, the auto industry has spent a century chasing the puck. Now, can you imagine never visiting a gas station again? Never getting an oil change? Never replacing a spark plug? Can you imagine a vehicle that has 0 tailpipe emissions and can be recharged easily and efficiently? Can you imagine vehicles that are connected to the world and to each other? Can you imagine a vehicle with flexible seating that may not even have a steering wheel, yet can maneuver safely even in the most challenging environments? That's the kind of revolutionary world of mobility that GM envisions. It's a future world with 0 crashes, 0 emissions, and 0 congestion. And to reach those goals, General Motors is re-envisioning how vehicles are engineered, manufactured, and powered. At the heart of this strategy is a modular propulsion system and a highly flexible global EV platform that we call Altium. This new platform includes proprietary Altium batteries, proprietary drive units, and a flexible vehicle architecture that will allow for a wide variety of vehicles. Let's start with the heart of the system, the Altium battery. This new lithium-ion battery with nickel, cobalt, manganese, and aluminum chemistry uses about 70% less cobalt than what is currently used in a Bolt EV battery. We do that by adding aluminum and increasing the amount of nickel. We expect that this new battery will offer more range at lower cost, in addition to other benefits. The Altium platform contains a battery pack that can house 6, 8, 10, or 12 modules, even 24 modules, with 2 12-module units stacked on top of each other. Our propulsion systems can be tailored like stacking blocks to accommodate individual vehicle needs while maximizing part sharing and capacity utilization. Think of an ice cube tray. The size of the ice cube tray never changes, but you can make as many ice cubes as you want. You can even stack one ice cube tray on top of another if you need more ice. Now, by the way, GM and LG Chem will be investing up to $2.3 billion in a joint venture called Altium Cells LLC, which will manufacture our Altium battery cells in Lordstown, Ohio. By sourcing battery cells internally and locally, we can better protect ourselves from future battery and material supply constraints. We think the Altium battery is a game changer. By getting this power to the wheels requires motors and drive units. GM's next generation EVs are expected to be powered by a family of 5 interchangeable drive units and 3 motors, known collectively as Altium Drive. Altium Drive combines electric motors and single-speed transmissions to apply power generated by Altium battery cells to the wheels of GM's upcoming electric vehicles. The GM Altium Drive family covers an all-wheel drive, front-wheel drive, and rear-wheel drive propulsion combinations, including high performance and off-road capabilities. All 5 drive units are expected to be powered by 1 or more of 3 motors, including a primary front-wheel drive motor, which can be configured for front or rear-wheel drive, and an all-wheel drive assist motor. Talk about revolutionary mobility solutions. The Altium platform modularity and flexibility will help enable a complete lineup of dedicated EVs, where the vehicle and the Altium system can be engineered simultaneously rather than trying to retrofit an existing vehicle platform. And we're also reimagining how electric vehicles are manufactured. GM is investing $2.2 billion at our Detroit Hamtramck assembly plant to produce a variety of all-electric vehicles. This plant will be dedicated entirely to producing EVs, and its first product, the GMC Hummer EV, an all-electric pickup, is scheduled to begin initial production next year. So I hope you can see that the Altium program is comprehensive and incorporates technology, design, engineering, and manufacturing. Thousands of GM scientists, engineers, and designers are working to execute a historic reinvention of our company. The future Altium platform will help GM to compete for nearly every customer in the market, whether they're looking for affordable transportation, a luxury experience, work trucks, fleet vehicles, or a high-performance sports car. Altium is a revolutionary approach to electric vehicle design. There is nothing evolutionary about it. General Motors is simply redefining electric vehicles of the future. So remember our imaginary time traveler from 1920 and how he would most likely be familiar with most automobiles of 2020. We'll enter Cruise Origin. Cruise Origin, which was unveiled in January of this year, is an autonomous self-driving vehicle that will be well suited for ride-sharing and package delivery. This is a vehicle that has no driver and therefore no steering wheel. It is low to the ground, making it easier to enter and exit, and the doors slide open, which is more pedestrian friendly. It can navigate challenging urban environments safely and efficiently without distraction. It might just be the San Francisco cable car of the future, except it's not limited to tracks and can maneuver safely, quietly, and efficiently anywhere in the city. Cruise Origin will be manufactured at GM's Detroit Hamtramck assembly facility, which, as I said, will produce a variety of all-electric trucks and SUVs. And the Cruise Origin will be built on GM's new Altium platform that I just described to you. The bottom line is that we believe that the potential of an all-electric self-driving vehicle can help save lives, reshape our cities, and cut emissions. There's another thing I'm sure our imaginary time traveler would be impressed with: the vehicle connectivity. Using built-in OnStar hardware and software, properly equipped vehicles can communicate a variety of vehicle diagnostic information to drivers and fleet managers, like tire pressure, oil life, fuel efficiency, and preventative maintenance schedules. Vehicles can link to safety, security, and emergency services, stolen vehicle assistance, even emergency crash response, which uses built-in sensors to automatically alert an OnStar advisor of an accident. The advisor can then use GPS technology to identify the precise location of the driver's vehicle and send for help, even when the driver can't ask for it. And with OnStar Vehicle Insights telematics, properly equipped vehicles can provide fleet managers with driver information and real-time alerts like sudden acceleration and hard braking, speed violations, how long vehicles remain in certain locations, and can even notify a fleet manager when a vehicle crosses a customizable boundary. OnStar Vehicle Insights telematics can find efficiencies in routing and keep track of how a vehicle moves over time and can even track a vehicle's movement in real time. And the thing is, this is not science fiction. All of these features are available now through OnStar and will continue to be part of GM vehicles going forward. Okay, so I'd like to wrap up today by offering, if I may, some advice to corporate leaders and particularly to sustainability and fleet managers. And it is simply this: now is the time to begin building an electric fleet. A lot of fleet managers are thinking about electric vehicles these days, either because their respective companies have established clear sustainability goals or just because they see EVs on the horizon and they want to get started. I believe the biggest fear of building an EV fleet is simply the fear of the unknown. And that's why it's so important to get educated early. Now, GM recently surveyed nearly 300 fleet managers, and we learned some interesting things. When given the opportunity to cite multiple factors for moving toward an electric fleet, nearly 2/3 of the respondents mentioned fuel savings. And that makes sense, right? After all, they are fleet managers and budgets are important to them. In many cases, electricity costs less than gasoline or diesel. There are no oil changes with electric vehicles or other maintenance items associated with an internal combustion engine. But get this, when given the opportunity to state the single most important reason for going electric, nearly half of these fleet managers said that it was because of their corporate responsibility. I'll bet that a good many of you listening to me today work at companies that have clear sustainability goals. And I'm no longer surprised at how many companies, large and small, have sustainability goals published on their websites. Likewise, we surveyed fleet managers who currently have no electric vehicles in their fleets and asked them what is preventing them from going electric. 2/3 of them said availability of charging stations, and more than half of them cited driving range and cost of charging infrastructure. When it comes to charging, it's really as easy as plugging in your phone, even if you live and work in rural areas. Here's why. Anywhere there's a standard electrical outlet, you have the ability to charge. There are 3 key places a fleet vehicle can charge: at your facility, which is ideal in many large fleet use cases, at the driver's home, or at public charging stations. And where the vehicle is primarily charged will determine what kind of charger is best. Level 1 charging uses 120 volt current, just like your standard household outlet. Charging this way takes more time, so the key is to plug in every day after work and charge up overnight. Level 2 charging is done by installing a 240 volt, 32 amp charging unit, like the one you plug your dryer or oven into. Level 2 chargers charge much faster than level 1 chargers and are recommended for fleets. Level 2 charging units need to be professionally installed, which is why we're working with Merit to provide a service that helps you easily find and obtain quotes from pre-approved EV charging station installers. Finally, there's DC fast charging, which is typically what you will find at public charging stations. Today, it is more convenient than ever to find and use DC fast charging. You do need to make sure that your vehicle is equipped with a DC fast charging port, however. GM is also collaborating with major charge point operators and working with them to further expand their charging networks. And we'll make it even easier to find charging on the go with our Energy Assist feature that helps drivers locate chargers along their routes, receive real-time alerts about their vehicle's range, and get live information on charger availability at more than 41,000 charge plugs across North America. And GM is leading by example. We're tripling the number of our own workplace charging stations, adding an additional 3,500 new EV charging plugs in North America. So like I said, the biggest fear of building an EV fleet may simply be the fear of the unknown. The key is to jump in now and test the water. We have fleet customers, for example, who are currently buying Chevy Bull EVs. Some customers are buying a few, some are buying more than that. A Bolt EV Cargo, which has 66 cubic feet of cargo capacity and about 800 pounds of payload capacity, can be ideal for package or grocery delivery, security use, campus shuttle service, or even municipal use. For other customers, a Bolt EV might not be precisely what they need at the moment, but they are wisely introducing them into their fleets to get educated about EVs and to build an EV ecosystem. Our GM fleet team is here to answer your questions about EV infrastructure by removing the guesswork and directly helping fleet, facility, and sustainability managers navigate this new electrified world. Electric vehicles can have a significant and immediate effect on both your total cost of ownership and sustainability targets. And speaking of total cost of ownership, one of my favorite possessions is a copy of a letter sent from a Chevrolet sales representative to a farmer in Saskatchewan in the year 1927, about the same time frame as our imaginary time traveler from 1920. At the time, the farmer was using a team of 4 horses to take his grain to town 25 miles away. The long and the short of it is that it cost the farmer 14.2 cents per bushel using his horses and carriage, whereas it cost 4.6 cents per bushel using a Chevy truck. Now, there's no way for me to know if the sales rep was successful with the farmer at that time, but I'm certain of this: that farmer eventually bought a truck. The parallel with today is stunning. If you don't currently have an EV in your fleet, I don't know if you will buy an electric vehicle this year or even next, but I'm certain of this: you will eventually buy an EV. The cost of ownership advantages, not to mention the other benefits, are just too strong to ignore. So here are some questions you should be asking yourself. Do you anticipate an all-electric fleet or a combination of electric and internal combustion vehicles? Do you have a charging plan? Now is the time to determine your charging infrastructure requirements. How many vehicles will need to be charged at a given time? Will they be charged day and night or only at night? Will there be a central charging location or will employees charge vehicles at home? And if it's the latter, how do employees get reimbursed? If a driver needs to charge on the road, how is that done? And where are the charging locations in your area? Electric vehicles are coming. GM alone plans to introduce a variety of new EVs over the next several years, beginning with the Chevrolet Bolt EUV, the GMC Hummer EV pickup, and the Cadillac Lyriq. If you wait until EVs are available in the market in volume, then you'll be playing catch up. You'll be chasing the puck instead of skating to where it will be. GM can help. If you want to learn how electric vehicles can work in your fleet, simply go to gmfleet.com to connect with a GM Fleet account executive near you. It's time to get started. Let me conclude by saying that GM will continue to advocate for policies that are aligned with our vision of zero crashes, zero emissions, and zero congestion. If we want true electrification across the country, we will need the infrastructure, the education, and the incentives all working together. An electric future is coming, and coming fast. I invite you to join us on this incredible journey. Thank you for your attention.
Propane is cleaning up the world all around us. And with more of it coming from renewable sources, propane will keep our planet cleaner for generations to come. Leading America toward a low-carbon future, propane can do that.
There's a number of people now who say, "What are you doing? The air's okay, but it's not fine for everybody."
When people are dying because of the poor air quality, it's not good enough yet.